What did a nurse do or say that made you immediately request another nurse? 5. After I had my son via C-section, my nurse was horrible. She was being a bitch to me, forced me to have morphine when I didn't want it and called me a wimp. If I was a wimp, I would have begged for the morphine. It put me to sleep and I spent less time with my son. I asked to be taken to my son in the NICU. She told me no. She said she was too damn busy to take care of me. I got tired of it. I hardly seen my son since he was born and she kept telling me I had to wait for someone to will me down. I got out of bed. She stood in front of me and said, "What the hell are you doing?" I replied, seeing my son. She shot back, "Well, you have to wait 'cause I can't take you. Get back in bed." I told her I'll make my own way down. "Well, who's gonna push you in the wheelchair?" Stupid smirk on her stupid face. "I'll walk." "You can't walk, watch me." "You didn't have your morphine." "No, I did not, and I spent several hours with my son, singing to him, and I didn't fall asleep once or felt sick." That nurse was gone after I complained. She went to a different ward. Yay for me, sorry for another patient. 6. When I was serving in the Air Force, I reached for a Coke bottle and knocked it over. It was the old glass 16 ounces kind. It was sitting on a concrete floor, and after I knocked it over it fell to the floor and exploded right into my hand. A large piece of it cut into my index finger right down to the bone. I had completely severed the arteries and nerves and lacerated the tendon. I was transported to the nearest military hospital at an army base and waited in the emergency room. Because they needed to check the extent of the nerve damage, I couldn't be given anything for the pain. I waited for over 2 hours to be seen. When I initially injured my hand, my wife grabbed something for me to wrap around the finger to control the bleeding. The closest thing at hand was a terry cloth towel. Once I was finally seen, the doctor had to pull all the little bits of terry cloth out of the wound, with no anesthesia or painkillers. Yay. Then he went about determining the extent of the damage by doing fun stuff like poking the exposed and severed nerve with a metal device. I wish I had words to describe the level of pain, but I just cannot do it justice. An hour or so later, and about 4 hours after the accident, I was waiting to be admitted to the hospital to have my hand surgically repaired. I had still not been given anything for the pain, and I had my eyes closed, doing my best to meditate and block the pain with my thoughts. I was actually doing pretty good and was, relatively, comfortable and relaxed when a nurse leaned over me and tapped me lightly on the cheek while loudly saying, "Wake up, you're not dead." My eyes flew open as all the calmness left and the pain came searing back. "I'm not in the F-ing Army either. You get the hell away from me," I shouted at her. I wouldn't let her touch me and I refused to have anything to do with her. The doctor put in my 4 while he explained that he understood why I wouldn't let her touch me, but she was much better at putting in 4s than he was and it would hurt more. I just indicated to my hand and bet him he couldn't possibly cause enough pain for me to even notice. The next day the nurse came in to apologize to me. I was now medicated and completely accepted her apology. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks for the surgery and the beginning of rehab, and we became buddies for my stay. She was a neat lady. It just hadn't occurred to her how much pain I was in and that I would be meditating.